Not only do I look like a pretty piece of turd today, but I also smell like a pretty piece of turd today. Don't know why I'm admitting that to you on camera. Anyways, guess who's back from Dubai? Oh god, it's gonna stop recording. Son of a... We are back from our technical difficulties. Yeet. So for today's video, I wanted to get into some more details on my trip to Dubai. Just, you know, in case for some godly reason you yourself decide to want to go to Dubai. I had a really amazing time while I was out there in Dubai, and I'm sure most of you saw that in my Dubai vlog. If you haven't seen that, I will link that down below. It's definitely worth a check out. It's definitely worth a view. I chose to visit during the month of Ramadan, and it's not something that a lot of people do, and as I was reading more about it online, I actually learned that this is the least populated time to visit Dubai because of the restrictions a lot of people are, I guess, afraid of. So if the blistering heat doesn't terrify you enough, then the rules and regulations are another reason why people kind of stray away from Dubai during the month of Ramadan. And you don't necessarily have to follow the rules of Ramadan, but you are in a different country after all, and a country you probably don't know very much about, and I think it's more respectful to respect the religion and the people. I think it's a better way to absorb their culture, and that's what you're there for after all anyways, right? I don't know. Alright. Moving on. Some of the rules that do apply to this month of Ramadan include not eating in public, no drinking in public, there's no smoking, dress modestly, and no public display of affection. Now these are just some of them. Obviously there's more to this religion than I read on the internet, but I do not study Muslim religion, so I do not know all that there is to know. I kind of just like jammed all this in my noggin before I took off on my 19-hour flight. I did dress modestly because actually, quick little tangent on that note, if you read more into the religion of the Muslim culture, it's actually kind of humbling to know why they require you to dress more modest during the month of Ramadan. And to sum it up in a quick tangent, basically it means, you know, to respect yourself, and I love that aspect of this religion. I may not understand it, I may not follow the religion, but I definitely appreciate that value that they have. And it's really to work on yourself inside and who you are as a person, versus worrying about your looks on the outside. Now, for those of you that might think about visiting during the month of Ramadan, which I highly suggest because it's a lot cheaper. You know, that's the only reason why this trip happened, is because I was looking for a summer destination, and this was such a steal of a deal. I could not pass it up, and I 100% believe it is because it is the start of their summer and it is during the month of Ramadan. Maybe you're on a little bit tighter of a budget, you can save a whole bunch of money by visiting during the month of Ramadan. And an added bonus is you will not be surrounded by crowds and crowds of tourists. But with that being said, there is still plenty to do. I mean, I could just go off and list every single thing you can do still, even though it is summertime. For instance, they are home to the biggest indoor water park in the world. There's zip lining, you can go on desert safaris, you can go skiing inside the mall. Yes, I said that. In the middle of the Middle East, you can go skiing inside of the mall. You can go diving with sharks if you're crazy and you just ain't got nothing else to live for. Just because it's summer doesn't mean you have to stop having fun. One thing I will add to that, I feel like I'm all over the place with this, but you know, that's my life, so. Anyways, one other thing to add to that is their nightlife during the month of Ramadan is non-existent. And I'm assuming this is another reason why people don't visit during this time frame. So their clubs, their bars, all that jazz is not is not open during the month of Ramadan. But I am not someone who likes to go out and get drunk and party my life away while I'm on vacation. In fact, I like to do the opposite. I don't know, I don't mind a drink or two, you know, because it's vacay, but I'm not there to get blackout drunk, and I'm not there to go and spend and waste money in the clubs. I'm there to experience the culture. So that really wasn't a big pooper on my party, I guess. For some people that might be. And you do you, boo-boo. You do you. Another thing I guess you could take into consideration is the heat. Oh my god. Nope, too dark. Come on. Their heat is way different from the heat here at home. I was still able to manage it, and it wasn't like unbearable. I'm from Yeehaw, Texas, and I'm kind of used to the heat. So it really wasn't that big of a deal. So there are a lot of different things, like I said, that you can do there during the summer. It all kind of just depends on your budget. Now this is another thing that it's good to keep in mind, is that it is an expensive city. So depending on your budget, depending on your timing, you may not be able to get to see it all or do it all, and that's okay. Like, I went ziplining from skyscrapers. I got to ride a camel in the middle of the Arabian desert. I still got to see all of the landmarks there, like the Burj Al Arab, the Burj Khalifa, the biggest mall in the world. I also included a trip to Abu Dhabi so I could see the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque. Probably said that wrong. Don't care anymore. I've given up on life and English. That got dark really fast. The other thing that I did want to touch on really fast is the transportation methods and how to get around. This can be quite tricky, especially if you're on a tighter budget. I personally decided to get around by Uber because it was just quicker and more convenient. They do have a little train system, but from what I saw, the train doesn't really go anywhere off the main highway, so it might be difficult to get from one place to another, especially if where you're trying to get is not off one of the main highways. You feel me? That plus their trains are fairly small. Nothing like the ones in New York that are like miles and miles long. These are pretty small trains, and they're usually jam-packed with locals, so that's another reason why I chose not to do the metro. You can also get around on the local buses there. I guess moral of the story is just know that there are other methods for getting around. You don't have to stick to Ubers because they can get costly, because Dubai is not a concentrated city. They're sort of spread out, so things may seem like they're close to different, you know, locations, but they're not. Real quick, back onto the activities that you can do. It's good to know that the safaris are not nearly as hot as the inner city activities would be. So if you choose to stay outside in the city, you will notice the difference in heat versus being out in the desert safari, because when we were in the city there was a lot more humidity because it was closer to the coastline, to the water, and when we were taken out to the desert, we were taken about an hour away from the city, and then we drove another 45 minutes into the desert safari, and it was so much cooler out in the desert than it was in the city. Additionally, another good thing to know is that a majority of the people there do speak English. They're not necessarily extremely friendly people, but they're also not rude people, and I get that because they're a little bit more reserved. Cool, you do you, my dude, whatevs. Anyways, lastly, I do want to talk about their cuisine. That is something that took me by surprise, and I was actually very, very taken away with it. Their food is absolutely delicious. You can find all kinds of American food there. That's cool and all, but you need to try their local cuisine. I tell you, it is probably going to be the best thing to ever hit the buds in your mouth. That was a weird way to say it, but overall I had a wonderful time there. The restrictions that applied to Ramadan didn't really affect me in any way whatsoever. I was still able to eat, I was still able to drink during the day. And even though I chose to dress modestly, you still find some people there that are just like, I'ma do me whether you like it or not. And so I saw people in short shorts and tank tops, and I looked at them like, well, that's not fair. But then I realized that I didn't look as dumb as they did, so there's that. Their toilet situation though, that was weird. This might be TMI and you might not even care, but I don't know if it's just customary there or anywhere else. These people had a separate hose to wash your butthole and your giblets. They don't. I guess they don't believe in toilet paper. Yeah. So I don't know about you guys, but spraying a little water hose up your booty hole kind of seems a bit strange, in my opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If there's anything that I left out, anything that you might have a question on, feel free to leave a comment down below, and I will be more than happy to get back to you on that question. Not like I'm an expert or anything, but I have been to Dubai, so, you know. Ask away, my friends, ask away. But other than that, that's all I've got for you guys today. And I feel like I've been talking like Speedy Gonzalez today. I am gonna stop talking now, and I'm gonna go get some food at P.F. Chang's, because that sounds really good right about now. See you later. Bye. I had initially planned to get around through. I don't get calls ever. I don't get text ever. But the minute I sit down to record, but with that being said, rude.